Hey you guys, today we'll be looking at the new Neo The World Ends With You announcement trailer. Personally, I'm not too well versed on the lore and the story, so I'm not going to spend too much time speaking on that, but I do think the combat looks really interesting in this game, so I figured I'd do a breakdown on it. Each character gets a spotlight at the beginning of the trailer showing off different psychs that they can use. If you've never played The World Ends With You, psychs are psychic powers that are gained when using different pins that are compatible with the soul. Usually a player will only be able to use certain types of psychs, such as only being able to use melee type psychs or range type psychs. There are also irregular attacks such as psychokinesis or minds, and non-direct attack types such as healing or buffing and debuffing. There are special people though who can use multiple types, which seems to be the case with this new cast since we see them using multiple types. These psychs are used to take on noise, the enemies you face in this game. Anyways, with that refresher out of the way, let's look at the characters. The first character is Rindu. The first attack we see with him is a melee psych using a flame sword to deal out a combo attack. You can see this yellow bar at the bottom of this pin, which will trigger a cooldown after depleting. With how fast the bar depletes to this combo, it'll probably be good for maybe 2 combos before triggering a cooldown. The attacks seem to do fire damage as well as only damaging the enemy once per strike. The final hit though is a multi-strike uppercut. There are these arrows that seem to be lock-on reticles to show what your psych will target when activated. I also want to call attention to your HP bar in the top corner as well as this sync meter. In the original game, you would share a health bar with your teammate, as well as a sync meter that would rise as you traded attacks with your partner. Anyways, the next screen shows Rindu attacking with an energy beam that seems to power up the longer it is used. Up next is Fred. His first attack is some kind of gravity type of psych, and we can see him targeting one enemy before moving to attack the bird noise. This psych seems to have a type advantage against the bird since this chance mechanic appears. A circle depletes, during which I assume you do increased damage while the noise is stunned, unable to attack back. Fred's hands glow with blue magic while he punches forward to attack. We can also see that the second pin is being used by Fred and grays out when the bar depletes. The second attack shows purple smoke around his hands, and this attack shoots enemies upwards instead of downwards. This has a wide AoE. Both of Fred's attacks here seem to be good psychs to use for groups of enemies and to keep multiple enemies stunned. Also, this pin set lines up with the set from the first scene of Rindu's attacks. Up next is Nagi with the same pin loadout. The first attack is a flurry of lightning beams shot out from her hands. You can see that these are multiple attacks rather than one long beam, as seen by her punching forward with each attack, as well as the pin gauge sharply decreasing with each punch. The second scene shows Nagi using telekinesis to throw multiple objects at the enemy. We also have our first indicator of syncing attacks, since the sync is now at 5%. Last up is Manami Modu, who may look familiar to you if you played the original game. The first attack is a quick dash forward that knocks the enemy back quite a ways. There's also a trail left behind Manami Modu as he dashes forward, and when he reaches the enemy, he flips backwards out of the kick. The second attack shows Manami Modu pulling debris together above his head before zipping over the enemy and slamming the debris down on top of them. This creates a massive shockwave that pushes enemies back. It also looks like this may stun an enemy, or it's possible this was a type advantage attack. The next bit of combat shows more Manami Modu against the shark noise. The psych he is using summons a giant bomb that is lobbed forward. Manami Modu gets attacked, which shows his pin being crossed out. Getting stunned by an attack will lock you out of countering until you regain your composure, it seems. Before the attack can continue though, the bomb goes off, throwing the shark into the air. The scene then cuts quickly, showing another bomb being spawned by Manyamimoto while Rindu attacks with the spinning slash. This is an air blade, it seems, rather than the fire one we saw before. The next scene has a lot going on. We see 2 pins being activated. Fred is using a psych that lets him lay down bombs, while Manamimoto is creating this pool of darkness that seems to keep the noise trapped within. It then looks like we change to a different perspective with the bombs that Fred set going off, and cooldowns happening for both psychs. Rindu's pin gauge drops considerably fast, probably meaning that this is a single attack per use. We actually see that this attack later on is used to trap a noise. This probably automatically puts the noise in a chance stun. Before that scene though, we see another 1-2 attack using 2 psychs. Fred launches the enemy into the air before Nagi uses their lightning to attack. The chance stun changes to plus 5%, showing that to increase your sync meter, you need to chance stun the enemy and deal damage. The next scene shows the elephant noise trapped to Rindu's psych before Manamimoto uses his dark pool attack again. This looks to increase the sync meter to 10%, and we also see Nagi using Rindu's fireblade pin, though now we get to see the air combat of it. We see 4 strikes before it changes scenes, though it looks like there's a burn status effect with red numbers appearing alongside the regular damage. The last few scenes of combat open with this gorilla noise climbing a tall building while these character portraits slide in. I really like seeing character reactions come in during battle, though I hope they don't get in the way. This fight didn't seem to suffer from it since the boss stayed in the middle of the screen though. The gorilla slams down at the end, stunning 2 of your party members. From what we've seen so far, the order of pins seems to be locked to a character, so Rindu and Fret seem to be the ones taking damage here. We can also see the Game Master Shiba on the back of this noise during this ground slam. The next scene shows Rindu getting captured, locking out his pin. Nagi attacks with her telekinesis psych to free him before it cuts to show Manami Modu throwing a giant bomb at the noise. The next noise boss is some kind of deer noise it seems, though it looks to be controlled by Shiba since it has the butterfly tattoo on its head. Fret now has the air blade and is using an air combo before Nagi jumps up and fires off multiple energy blasts. The scene then cuts to show the boss using a giant electrical attack, raining down lightning bolts on the party. We then see Fret attacking again with the air blade before it looks like he cuts the attack short to perform a dodge roll. This is unsuccessful as the noise swings to hit him, but I wonder if this will be something that we as the player can control. I've been wondering how exactly the game will control with multiple party members. I'm really interested in how the movement will fit in with the multiple characters. I really hope AI or something happens where we're not having to switch between characters just to move them out of the way of damage. It's not even really clear if we do move characters or if they just move on their own. I'm not really worried about it though. Everything we've seen so far looks really good. I'm also really looking forward to comboing psychs together and finding good combinations of psychs to use. That seems like it's really rewarded in this game. And that is all I have for you guys today. I hope I was able to point out some things you hadn't noticed before. I'm really excited for this game and might start making some content for the original game, going through the pins and breaking down how they all work. If that sounds interesting, let me know down below. Anyways, thank you to my patrons who support me. Their names will be on screen right now. If you want to see my breakdowns early or schedule the breakdowns I want to do for each month, head over to my Patreon. If you enjoyed this video, click the cards on screen to see some breakdowns of other Square Enix games like Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy VII, or Nier Automata. Subscribe or share this and I will see you in the next video.